Typically, we think XX equals female and XY equals male. Pretty black and white, we think. But does it? There are many mutations. And the SRY gene, which is the gene that's normally attached to the Y chromosome, is responsible for a lot of the things that take place. You see, the chromosomes are responsible to begin the communication between the genes and hormones, creating a cascade or influx of hormonal mix that will begin the development of the brain and the central nervous system. At 8 weeks' time, the brain gets hardwired to be a male brain or a female brain, both or neither. That happens at 8 weeks' time, before any genitalia, before any gonads, before anything starts to happen. Development of the central nervous system and physical sex follows. If all goes well, we'll have an aligned gender and sex. Most people believe environment and parental guidance plays an important role in personality and development. However, according to the Merck manual, at 18 to 24 months of age, a boy knows he's a boy and a girl knows she's a girl. You don't have to tell your 2-year-old, Johnny, you're a boy. They know that. It's like hardwiring your brain. So the belief that gender is nurtured or molded in some way is false. A child comes with his or her gender identity. It's like a blueprint. Terms we're going to get familiar with. Sex is a biological term which refers to the functional difference between males and females and their reproductive potential. Male and female are biological terms. Sex is a physical component of the individual, such as the gonads, the reproductive organs, and the genitals. Sexuality is a psychological term which refers to our awareness and reaction to biological sex. Psychological terms which refers to a person's gender. Gender is determined by biological and physiological factors. Gender role, adoption of masculine or feminine behavioral traits that are deemed appropriate or characteristic of a particular gender. Society tries to always put people in a box. If you're a girl, you have to like pink. If you're a boy, you have to like blue. These are things that have been said in generation to generation. And I'm sorry, the body just doesn't come equipped that way. You know, you are who you are, and your role is what you prefer. Gender identity is a person's private, subjective sense of maleness or femaleness, which is hardwired in your brain at 8 weeks' time. And all due to the hormonal mix and influx. Sexual orientation, a different ballgame altogether. Who you identify as and who you want to go to bed with are like night and day. Automatically, they see a feminine gentleman walking around, oh, he's gay. All of a sudden, he's married with 5 kids. Okay? That's his gender identity. That's the way he was hardwired. That's the way the hormonal mix fell together. Or the same thing, you get a very masculine woman who probably could beat up on her husband. But she's not a lesbian. She's not gay. She's very happily married. But that's how she developed. And we learn to criticize people for their mannerism, and your mannerisms are how they are. You can't change that. So sexual orientation, your preference, erotic desire for people of same or different sex, or both. A lot of the research also points out that most human beings are programmed to be bisexuals, as in biological and physiological variables that affect gender. Chromosomes, gonads, prenatal hormones, internal accessory organs, external genital appearance, pubertal hormones, assigned gender, and gender identity. Now, there are different times where this could all kick in. For instance, I knew when I was 3, I was in the wrong body. There's some individuals that it's not until puberty when that surge of hormone really kicks in. And then there's some individuals that don't find out till like 40 or 50, as you probably see a lot of in the news and things like that. Men that are married and they're 50, all of a sudden they're like, tell their wife, I'm in the wrong body and I have to have reassignment surgery. Everybody, like for instance, I don't know if you guys heard Stanton, the city manager of Largo. That is a very sad situation what they're trying to do. It's really funny how they loved the way he worked. It was a great employee. All of a sudden, the man wants to be happy and comes out and feels comfortable. I can no longer live another day. We have to play actors. I mean, if you saw the pictures of my documentary when I was a female, I even got married. I had the long hair, tried to please everybody. Okay, let me play the nice little role of female. I was dying inside. For every passing day that went by, I just wanted to die. And one day I just decided, you know what? Who am I kidding? What do I have to please the world? I've got to please myself. And I've got to be true to who I am. Gender and sex are not synonymous. Sex refers to your gonads, your genitals, and your reproductive organs. I know I keep harping on that, but it's important to know. And gender is your male, your female, or both. In 1972, Money and Earhart reported a case of a 7-month-old baby boy who was a pair of twin whose circumcision went bad. They messed up his wee-wee, and at 22 months, they reassigned him as a female with the prevailing thought that if you would raise the child as a girl, because they think we're psychosexually neutral at birth. So they go, oh, just make a little vagina, and we'll put a little estrogen in him, and we'll raise him as a girl, and they'll think he's a girl. Right? Well, the case entered textbooks and informed medical opinions for several decades. But when the child grew up, and there was a long-term follow-up by Dr. Milton, they painted a totally different picture. The individual later found to reject this sex of rearing, switch at puberty to living as a male, and has successfully lived as such from the time to present. He is married and has kids, and happily ever after.